In 1919, Germany was a nation in humiliation. The First World War had ended in defeat, and the Treaty of Versailles forced Germany to accept total blame for the conflict. The country lost land, its military was stripped down to almost nothing, and enormous reparations crushed its economy. Inflation spiraled so wildly that money became almost worthless. Families carried wheelbarrows of cash just to buy bread. Pride turned into anger. Hope turned into resentment. In this atmosphere of despair, extremism found fertile ground. Adolf Hitler was not born powerful. He was born in 1889 in Austria. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming an artist but was rejected from art school in Vienna. He lived in poverty, developing intense nationalist ideas and deep prejudice. When World War I began, he volunteered to fight for Germany. The war gave him identity and purpose. But when Germany surrendered in 1918, Hitler felt personally betrayed. He blamed politicians, minorities, and especially Jewish citizens for Germany's defeat, an accusation that had no factual basis but found eager listeners among a wounded population. In 1919, Hitler joined a small political group in Munich. It would later become the National Socialist German Workers' Party, commonly known as the Nazi Party. At first, it was insignificant. But Hitler possessed a rare ability. He could speak with emotional intensity. His speeches were dramatic, theatrical, and filled with promises of national rebirth. He offered simple answers to complex problems. Germany was suffering, he claimed, because it had been stabbed in the back by enemies within. He promised to restore pride, rebuild the military, create jobs, and make Germany powerful again. In 1923, he attempted to seize power in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed. Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison. For many politicians, this would have ended a career. For Hitler, it became an opportunity. While imprisoned, he wrote a book titled Mein Kampf, meaning My Struggle. In it, he outlined his ideology: extreme nationalism, racial hierarchy, hatred of Jews, and the need for territorial expansion. He believed Germany needed living space, and that war was inevitable. These ideas were dangerous, radical, and openly violent. Yet, after his release, Germany entered a period of relative stability. For a few years, the Nazi Party struggled to gain mass support. Then came the Great Depression in 1929. The global economic collapse devastated Germany once again. Millions lost their jobs. Banks failed. Hunger and fear returned. Democracy seemed weak and ineffective. Political violence filled the streets. Many Germans began searching for strong leadership. Hitler presented himself as that leader. The Nazi Party used modern propaganda techniques to an unprecedented degree. Massive rallies were staged with military precision. Symbols, uniforms, and flags created a sense of unity and power. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's propaganda chief, carefully controlled messaging. Radio broadcasts carried Hitler's voice into millions of homes. Posters portrayed him as a savior chosen to rescue Germany. By 1932, the Nazi Party had become the largest political party in Germany. In January 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. Some conservative leaders believed they could control him. They were dangerously mistaken. Within weeks, a fire destroyed the Reichstag building, Germany's parliament. The event was blamed on communists. Hitler used the crisis to demand emergency powers. Civil liberties were suspended. Political opponents were arrested. The Enabling Act was passed, allowing Hitler to create laws without parliamentary approval. German democracy ended, legally. Over the next year, Hitler eliminated all opposition. Rival political parties were banned. Trade unions were dissolved. Critics were silenced, imprisoned, or killed. In 1934, after the death of President Hindenburg, Hitler combined the roles of Chancellor and President, declaring himself Führer, the supreme leader. The rise was complete. Nazi Germany became a totalitarian state. The government controlled media, education, culture, and even youth organizations. Children were taught loyalty to Hitler above all else. Dissent became treason. Meanwhile, Hitler began rebuilding Germany's military in direct violation of the Treaty of Versailles. Factories expanded. Highways were constructed. Unemployment dropped. Many Germans saw economic improvement and believed Hitler had delivered on his promises. But behind this apparent recovery, a darker reality unfolded. Jewish citizens were systematically excluded from public life. The Nuremberg Laws stripped them of citizenship. Businesses were boycotted. Violence escalated.
History does not repeat, but it echoes.